Hi there everyone, it's Coach Alexa here. I get asked quite a lot of questions about running shoes and how to pick the right running shoes or recommendations on different brands, because there's a whole plethora of different types of running shoe out there at the moment. First really key point I always come back with in my answers is that different brands of running shoe use different template feet. So different brands of running shoe would fit people with different foot shapes. So as an example, my feet are quite long and narrow, so not particularly wide. So there's a particular brand of running shoe that I really get on with, and generally know that if I buy a pair of shoes, they'll be pretty much guaranteed to fit. And I came across them by just doing loads and loads of trying on of running shoes. So the first top tip is to try loads of pairs of shoes on and find the brand and maybe the model of shoe that really suits your feet and fits them best, because just that general feeling of comfort, it will reduce the amount of blistering you get and all sorts of positive impacts. Second thing to bear in mind is the feet shape. So when you run, your foot has an arch when it's up in the air, and when it lands, that arch compresses and you can see your foot actually lengthens a little bit in the shoe, and then it uses this elastic energy to kind of bounce you back up and push you forwards. So you always got to buy your running shoe a little bit longer than feels comfortable when you're just stood, to allow for that lengthening of your foot in the shoe as you land. So the same literal rule of thumb, so thumb width in between the end of your toes and the end of the shoe, like you would if you were shoe shopping for children. The other thing to bear in mind, that as your arch kind of flattens as you land, your toes actually widen and expand a little bit, and then again snap back together again as you push off. So not only do you want the little toe box area, so the area that your toes are in the shoe, to be slightly longer than your toes, you want it to be slightly wider as well. So make sure you've got plenty of wiggle room when you're trying them on to really wiggle your toes around and get plenty of movement there. It's worth a little thought about Gait Analysis that they offer in some running shoe shops now on the treadmill. It's worth checking out either via personal recommendations or asking for the qualifications of the people that do that treadmill analysis in the shops. For some of them there's really quite minimal qualification requirement, so the likelihood of them recommending the right shoe are a lot lower. For some people they've got very well qualified staff there that can be excellent mines of information. You don't really know until you've either figured out through recommendation or just by asking for those qualifications. Couple of other final tips. One would be, think about, if you've only got one pair of running shoes, investing in a second pair and alternating between them. The reason for that is the cushioning bounces back a little bit better if you leave it longer between runs to give you more cushioning, and also it alters the wear patterns. If you buy two different pairs of shoes, so different models for example from a particular manufacturer, the wear pattern that you get on each step as you run is slightly different and has a little bit of an impact on reducing injury risk. Final thing to say is, if you're running off-road, some shoes with extra nice grip on the bottom, so those really kind of chunky lugs of grip on the bottom, can be really useful. Really stops the likelihood of you slipping or tripping or anything like that when you're out on the trails. Hope that helps, and let me know any questions in the comments.